Shalom. I was supposed to do this next video was supposed to be connected to the land connection, and this is what I said, but I have been sidetracked a little, so I'm gonna do that video later. I must do this video here. Someone came to my channel, they saw some of my videos, and they just put me in a group with others that's racist, that's hateful, that's spewing hate out of their mouth. And as I told this person, check out my videos. Anywhere in my videos do you hear me bashing any so-called white people, anyone? And again, I didn't get a response, but he's in his mind, he automatically assumed, because I know who I am, that I'm with the rest of the groups, the camps, the one that's preaching and spewing hate out of their mouth. He came to the wrong channel. Actually, he came to the right channel, but this is not the channel, and I'm not the one. I have no hatred towards anyone. So I must do this video concerning GUI, Gentile, other nations and other people other than Yasharal. And I want to clear up some false teaching. There's not one video I put up concerning the other nations. And this is, I knew I had to do this video one day, and I knew I was going to do it, but when, I just didn't know when I was going to do it. Yahuwah was giving me so many other messages, and I kept doing this video off. I just kept putting it off. And even now, as I speak, he has given me tremendous messages, and I just want to get them out, but I don't have the time. If I had the time, I would get them out. Okay, let's go into this. This is salvation for GUI, salvation for Gentiles. I'm gonna be calling them GUI because that's what the Hebrew scriptures call them, GUI. Okay, the first scripture I'm gonna give is Isaiah 56:1, and I will say this: the scriptures that I give, that I'm giving, I believe the scripture for what it says. Why some of the other Israelites don't go into Isaiah 56, I don't know. It's not my business. But they stay away from this. They stay away from this. And even, the other nations, the ones that call themselves Christians, they stay away from this. I point them to the scripture, and I try to get them to understand what is it saying, because some people think that, those laws, it's the laws of the letter, that's for the older generation. We're the new generation. We don't live by the law. We live by the spirit. This is what they say. Okay, Isaiah 56, I'm going to read 1-8. And you be the judge. It says, thus says Yahuwah, keep justice and do righteousness, for my salvation is about to come and my righteousness to be revealed. So number one, this first verse is telling, I'm gonna just tell you, this is for everyone. This is for Yasharal, this is for GUI, this is for any nation on earth. He's saying right here, keep justice and do righteousness. Now, one of the false teachings of Christianity is this thing is by grace. We're saved by grace through faith alone, not of works. And this is what they believe, but it's wrong. They're saying that anything you do, all your righteousness is of filthy rags. Okay, but what is this saying? Keep justice and do righteousness. Verse 2, it says, Barak is the man who does this. Barak is the man, not Barak is Yasharal. Barak is the man, whoever man, whatever man or woman that does this, and the Son of Man who lays hold on it, who keeps from defiling the Shabbats. Okay, Christians, away with the Sunday worship, away with that. It says who keeps from defiling the Shabbats. You defile the Shabbats week after week, and you go to church on Sunday. This is asking you, who keeps from defiling the Shabbats and keeps his hand from doing any evil. Now, any evil is anything against Torah. You read what's in the Torah and you doing anything against that, it is evil and wicked. Eating catfish, which churches will feed you catfish. This is evil. It's wickedness. Eating swine, eating shellfish, wickedness, all wickedness. Verse 3, do not let the son of the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah has utterly separated me from his people. And let not the Enoch say, here I am, a dry tree. Okay, again, this is the son of the foreigner. And this is what we hear today. We hear people saying that he has separated his people. God have his people, and JESUS has his people. And this is just false teaching. Verse 4, thus says Yahuwah to the Enoch who keep my Sabbath, and choose what pleases me, and hold fast to my covenant. So there's a group of people. This is not Yasharal. This is the other nations here. This is Gentile nations. It says who keep the Shabbats. So you are of a foreigner, you of another nation, you are to keep Shabbat. He says, even to them I will give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than that of sons and daughters, and I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. And the sons of the foreigner whom joined themselves to Yahuwah to serve him and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, everyone, not Yasharal, everyone, pay attention to this, everyone who keeps from defiling the Shabbats and hold fast to my covenant. If you're defiling the Shabbats, you're holding fast to his, if you're defiling his Shabbats and you are breaking his covenant, then you have no part. You have no part of him. You can say you do, but you don't. He says, even them I will bring to my Kadash mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings, here we go, burnt offerings, and their offerings will be accepted on my altar. So even the GUI nations will bring burnt offerings and the other offerings. You know, people don't understand the offerings, but if you look in the Torah, it mentions different offerings. The only offering people know is the sin offering. This is the only, because it's not taught. He says, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations. Get that, all nations. Yes, GUI will have a chance to be saved, but GUI, you know, GUI has been deceived. GUI has been deceived just like Yasharal. You know, they think their way of salvation is what is through the men, is through the teachings of men. That's why, you know, the word tells us the traditions of men make his word of no effect. It gives his word no power. And they think the way of salvation is the correct way, and they're actually wrong. Verse 8 says, Yahuwah Elohim, who gathers the outcasts of Yasharal, says, yet I will gather to him others. Who is this others? So he's gathering his people up in these last days, and he's going to gather others, and they will be gathered to him. So yes, I do believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Gentiles, they will be able to obtain salvation. I don't spew this hate that most people spew out of their mouth. Okay, I'm going to continue with Genesis 17, 10 through 13. And this is dealing with Abraham and the covenant which he gave unto Abraham. And one thing you have to understand about this covenant is, you know, there was always GUI around Yasharal. There was always other nations around, even Abraham. Okay, this is 17 and 13. It says, he who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh, an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. So right here, everyone, every male child, whether it's it's whether this child is Abraham's seed or not. It's one of the servants' child. Their child had to be circumcised. Verse, let's see. Let me go back up. Hold on. Let me go back because I skipped. Okay, yes, I skipped. I'm sorry. Let me read. Starting at 10. This is my covenant which I shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised. He's saying every male child shall be circumcised. And you shall be circumcised in your flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old, same things in the Torah. He who 8 days old among you shall be circumcised, every male in your generation, he who is born in your house and is bought with money from any foreigner who is not your descendant. So this is right there. This is where I should have started. Right there lets you know that anyone that was in his house had to be circumcised. They had to keep, the scripture says that Abraham, he kept the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, this is 24, 1 and 2. Genesis 24, 1 and 2. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and Yahuwah had barak him in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house. So this is the eldest servant. And this eldest servant, of course, he wasn't of his seed. He ruled over all that he had. And this is when he sent him to get a wife for his son. Okay, the last scripture here is Isaiah 14 and 1. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Yasharal and set them in their own land. And the strangers, here we go. And the strangers, there were always strangers. When they came out of Egypt, there were strangers. There were other nations that was with them. It was always other nations, but they kept the law, statutes, and commandment also. If they broke the covenant, they would be cut off also. Same way it will be in the kingdom. And the strangers shall be joined with them. So here, this is a future prophecy that's about to happen. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now, that brings me to the next message. They shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now, this is something that they don't understand the scriptures because they've been taught the doctrines of men. And they've been taught by other gooey nations that don't understand the scripture. Their eyes haven't been opened to the truth, and they will be in for a shock and a surprise of how the salvation comes. They don't know the order, and when you don't know the order, when you don't know his order, you will be out of order. And so this is what happened, and what they're trying to do, they're trying to get in another way. And there is no other way. They're giving homage to another mighty one that have nothing to do with the Father whatsoever. This JESUS is a fraud. I mean, he has nothing. This is a creation of man. It's man's creation. And the next video I will go into Jacob's role in concerning Gooey, and how does Gooey get in? How does he know how to get in? This is one of the most misunderstood topics that you can come up with, and this is why I said that this message, I didn't want to do this video for a while anyway, and I wasn't ready to do it now, but I'm forced to do it now because of what came up. Shalom.